From time to time, we do a draft here on PFT Live. Usually it is a two-man operation. Today with Dan Katz, a.k.a. Barstool Big Cat, and Chris Sims in Stanford, and me here in West Virginia. We're going to try a three-man, three-round draft, and I'm going to sit out the coin toss, guys. I get to preside over this, which is fine because it's rigged anyway. Dan and Chris are going to participate. Dan gets to call it since he's the new guy. Call it in the virtual air, heads or tails.
Okay, I'm calling tails. Tails never fails.
That's my
never
theme.
ever
I
fails.
like it. Good.
Here we go.
And
there we go.
And it always comes up tails.
Okay.
See, there it is. He's already figured out. It's rigged.
It does.
It's always tails.
All right, I'm going to defer to Chris.
He's deferring to me. You hear that? Okay, it's like I'm Patrick Mahomes. Give me the ball. Uh-oh, you don't know what happens here. All right, I'm going right off the bat. I'm going in that Kansas City football game. Most non-important QB to me is Tyreek Hill. I'm going to pick him right off the bat just because I think he can dictate so much of what the Patriots do and how to find different ways, not only to use him as a decoy to stretch the field and really back off that Patriots defense to a degree, but also the other factors like we saw last week. I mean, he ran a reverse for a touchdown. Again, Sammy Watkins being back in the lineup, that gives the ability to send him deep and then Tyreek Hill come underneath. But the Patriots are always going to have to be aware of where Tyreek Hill is at all times. You've heard their concerns about him. It's hard to replicate the speed. That's why I go with him.
Okay, so I'm up. I'm going.
No, wait a minute. You defer just to Chris, or you've forfeited your pick.
Oh, okay.
You're like the Vikings in 03 and 04. No, you go ahead.
All right, I'll stay in that game. My most important non-QB in that game, Andy Reid's brain. So Andy Reid, can he jump over this hurdle of playoff Andy Reid, clock management, big game, down in the fourth quarter?
Run the ball. Can he remember to run the ball?
Right. Will he be wearing shorts? He's been wearing shorts all week long. It's an absolutely crazy move. Andy Reid's brain is the most important non-QB in that game to me.
All right, I'm going to go to the other game because there is an obvious name out there, and this is a legacy-building game for a guy that we have seen perform at a high level. He's been the best interior defensive lineman of this generation, one of the best of all time, maybe at least the best since Warren Sapp, and that is the guy who now holds the single-season sack record for defensive tackles, Aaron Donald. What he can do, no matter how many guys they use him, what he can do to disrupt that Saints offense is going to go a long way toward determining whether or not the Rams can end that streak. I think it's a 9-year streak of the home team winning the NFC Championship game. Aaron Donald is going to be the key to slowing down the Saints offense, and he is going to be critical to the outcome of the game.
What a basic pick.
Yeah, I mean.
Well, of course. I'm trying to win this thing.
There's a winner and loser? Well,
what do you want me to pick? Do you want me to pick a punter?
I mean, Johnny Hecker's pretty good. Right?
Chris, you're up next.
All right, thank you very much. You know what? I am going to flip that on you and go with Andrus Peat right off the bat because of what you just said about the greatness of Aaron Donald. Yes, Aaron Donald is great. He can destroy football games. But I go with Andrus Peat because the first time around, the New Orleans Saints had the luxury a lot of times in some big moments to say, you know what? Andrus Peat, he's our first-round pick. We think he's a really damn good guard, and we're not going to help out. And listen, Aaron Donald's always going to make a few plays or get around the quarterback. For the most part, though, Andrus Peat played very well in that matchup and contained him. There was no sacks by the Rams defense in that game. So I look at him again, and I talked about it earlier in the last segment, just saying how he kind of struggled last week against Fletcher Cox and some of the guys on the Eagles. If he does that again this week and plays the way he did in the divisional round, and I know he came off a late season hand surgery, then they're going to be in deep crap in New Orleans. So Andrus Peat is a guy I look at as going to have a huge football game, and they're going to have to be able to trust him in some moments to handle Aaron Donald one-on-one.
Okay, I don't think I'm doing this draft right, but I'm just going to keep charging through with my picks.
Do it.
My second pick is which Sean thinks he looks hotter on Sunday. Because both these guys, now hear me out. I'm going to get there. I'm going to convince both of you. Remember when Sean Payton, he had the year off because of who, we won't talk about it, but he had the year off. He started doing CrossFit. He started wearing shirts that were a little tighter. He thought he looked really good for his age. Sean McVay has the hair, the perfectly manicured beard.
Perfect.
Both these guys look in the mirror and they say, Sean, you're the number one Sean. They do that in the morning, every single morning. So I think they're going to be looking across the field at each other, trying to one-up each other with play calling and who can make the best play call and the gadget plays. If one of these Seans lets their ego get a little ahead of themselves and say, I'm the hotter Sean, that's where they'll fall.
There is some wisdom somewhere
is.
at the core of all of that.
No,
because
there is.
Sean Payton is the original I'm just trying to win the game coach when he did the onside kick surprise at the start of the third quarter in Super Bowl 44.
Yep.
Now all of that type of rolling the dice is commonplace, and we're getting to the point where maybe somebody's going to try to be a little too cute and push a little too far and take a chance that becomes reckless. I kind of like that.
You're right.
Sean I'm going to try to out-Sean the other Sean.
He did it. Sean McVay did it last week when he should have kicked the field goal to go up 11, and he goes for the touchdown, which made no sense whatsoever. Both Seans want to be the best Sean. They both think they're hot Seans. We'll see who can win that battle.
And to further your point,
I won this draft just from this
the
pick.
fact that you're using brains and hot Sean, I mean, it is funny, and I'm
Wait till
enjoying
you see
that.
my third.
But no, to the point, though, too, Sean McVay kind of did that in the first matchup. The game was 14-14. They had the ball, and they decided to go on a fake field goal, and they did not make it, and the Saints got the ball back, of course, and went right down the field and made it 21-14, and the Rams kind of lost control of the game there where they were in the power play. So as funny as we're laughing at the hot Sean thing and all that, there is some wisdom here by the big cat.
Yep.
All right, I'm going to go back to being extremely boring and conventional, but this is a guy that we're not talking about much. We mentioned him earlier in the program because the last big play we saw this year from Rob Gronkowski came against the Chiefs in Week 6. At the time, he still had it. This guy hasn't fallen off a cliff. And with some of these guys, you never know what injuries they're really dealing with. You know, if they never tell the team, if they handle it all on the side on their own with Alex Guerrero or whoever, you never know that a guy's injured because the team never knows he's actually injured. Maybe Gronk's been a little banged up and we haven't really known it. Maybe Gronk's finally healthy again. Maybe Gronk understands that these may be the final 2 games of his career. This is a day for Rob Gronkowski to show up in a big way, and it could be a long-term rope-a-dope that the Patriots have engaged in to make the Chiefs think that Gronk isn't going to be Gronk. I think there's a good chance Gronk is going to be Gronk, and if Gronk can be Gronk, then the Patriots will have an easier time advancing to the Super Bowl for what, the 4th time in 5 years?
Yeah, I mean I'm sorry
I didn't have a more creative way to present it. I tried.
No, it's okay.
But
you did it.
There I go.
You tried it. You should have a little tip for you, a little journalist tip. You should have said, "Is this Rob Gronkowski's last game in a Patriots uniform?" That's how you get.
I haven't heard that one.
Way to teach him. Way to coach him.
I'm not aware of that. I'm not aware of that possibility. Haven't heard anything about that for the last year.
Certainly.
All right.
I mean, certainly a good one with Gronkowski though, because he has not been the same. And you know, even guys that are at his age, the skills are falling down. Can he rise up to that occasion one more time in games like this? I would say yes. I mean, he's truly. You know, this could make the blood boil a little bit. But Eric Berry could be playing, and Eric Berry gave him a handful last year in that first matchup at the start of the season.
Is that your pick? Is that your round 3 pick?
No, it's not.
You taking the hand off the checker?
No, I'm not.
All right,
no.
Get to round 3.
Okay, be quiet. I'll pick it when I'm ready. All right, here we go. Chris Jones.
We have a clock that we have to pay attention to.
Chris Jones Jr. Okay, we talk about Aaron Donald for the Rams and how important he is. This is the second best pass rushing defensive tackle in all of football, Chris Jones. And his ability not only to stop the run, which we know the Patriots want to run the ball, right? But the other thing we always hear about, you know, any quarterback, pressure in your face can disrupt them. We saw big tip passes by Chris Jones last week on some third downs on Andrew Luck. And New England is the king, and I worked there and played for Josh McDaniels for 1 year, where they want to say, we want to clear the pocket so then it becomes 7-on-7 for the quarterback. And Chris Jones can ruin that whole plan if he can continue to push the pocket into Brady's face and get pressure throughout the game.
It's a good pick.
All right.
It's a good pick.
Bam.
It's a good pick.
Thanks.
All right. My third pick is going to be the Patriots' mystique, because I think it matters in a game like this. The Chiefs, the two franchises are polar opposites in terms of success at the highest level. And if things go poorly for the Chiefs to start the game, we talked about it at the first hour of the show, the doubts start to creep in, not only in the sidelines and on the staff and on the players, but in the stands. Yeah. And everything starts to say, oh, no, this is doom and gloom. Here we go, same old Chiefs. So I think the Patriots' mystique and what they bring with the Brady Belichick, what are they going to do? What do they know? What has Ernie Adams figured out before this game? That all matters, and that's important.
We were talking about this yesterday. It's actually a great pick because, you know,
they're all great picks.
Patriots,
they're all great picks.
I'm just trying to be polite. What will the Patriots do? What will they do to try to flummox and confuse the Chiefs. And will it cause the Chiefs to overthink it? Well, they start seeing ghosts because they're thinking, oh, the Patriots are setting us up in some way. They have found something in the film that is trying to dupe us into doing this thing that's going to get exposed. Somebody's going to jump up and intercept the pass. They're showing us something that we've never seen before, or we've seen it before and they're going to execute it a different way. And I agree with you. And I think that's a real dynamic in sports.
Sure.
When you feel like you just can't get past someone, when you feel like that there's an edge that's built in, if you do get ahead, you start thinking it's just a matter of time before the floodgates open and it all falls apart. So I like that one. There are so many more left that I can choose from. I want to choose I'm caught now. I want to choose a good traditional one versus I want to come up with something creative and edgy. But you know what?
You're not creative.
Don't try to be funny. Don't do that.
Here.
Don't do that.
Really?
Yeah, no.
Really? You're Mike Florio, killer of fun.
You know what? Be creative, Mike. Go ahead. Be funny. Tell us a joke.
No, I'm not. I don't really have anything. I'm gonna go with Todd Gurley for the reasons we discussed earlier. Not just when he has the ball, but when he doesn't have the ball.
Oh,
will
here
he
it
get
comes.
frustrated? What? Will he get frustrated if C.J. Anderson is getting a bunch of touches? Will there be any friction on the sideline? I'm telling you, Fox, keep a camera on Todd Gurley. If the Saints are ahead early and the Rams aren't moving the ball and C.J. Anderson is getting roughly the same number of attempts as Todd Gurley, I want a camera on Todd Gurley, and I want to see if that facade cracks because I think the Rams are trying very hard to make sure Todd Gurley doesn't blow his stack because he's gone from being MVP candidate to part-time player in his own backfield, and I think at some level that's got to be bothering him.
Mike, it's all in the selling of it. You need to say Todd Gurley's me-first attitude is the most non-QB important player in the championship
Look,
weekend.
see, he knows all like the Barstool social,
it's
headlines.
easy. It's
He's very
clickbait.
good at
Todd Gurley's
The crafting of the hot
unhappiness.
takes.
Yes.
Yeah, Todd Gurley's unhappiness with Sean McVay is the most important storyline going into Sunday.
You guys
Todd
are
Gurley's
stirring the
massive
pot.
ego.
Stir in the pot.
Yeah, gigantic ego. It might not even fit in the dome.
All right, let's recap this thing and move on. Chris Sims has Tyreek Hill, Andrus Peat, Chris Jones. Big Cat has Andy Reid's brain, whichever Sean thinks he looks hotter that day, and the Patriots' mystique. I've got Aaron Donald, Gronk, and Todd Gurley. Big Cat wins. This is the first time I'm stepping in.
Yep.
Big Cat wins.
Yeah,
that's good.
I
think you've revolutionized this whole draft process.
You're right. I think we need to be sillier going forward.
We're gonna step it up to a new level if we can. We'll find out.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.